So I do a lot of thinking in my spare time, which sure there's not a lot of it I get. Most of the time that spare time occurs at night, but that's when I do a lot of thinking and I just do I think about some of the quite often it's actually a lot of my fears about being a YouTuber and well, I have some goals and I have some fears about achieving those goals. And these are some fears, some may say they're just kind of irrational. They're just, you'll get over it. Some are, might be a little more specific to me, but I just figured, you know what? I've been doing this for about 3.5 years now. I've been on YouTube for about 3.5 years. And so this is a bit of a self-evaluation as of how far I've actually have come within those 3.5 years of posting videos on the internet. And originally it started off as me just grabbing the webcam off of my old desktop monitor. It wasn't even that good of a quality. Just grabbing that and then just filming, well, pictures of cars. That was essentially what I was doing years and years ago, like 6 years or something ago, when I was young and crazy, like we've all used to be. As you might have guessed, my methods of filming videos and topics have evolved drastically over time, but it wasn't until actually 3.5 years ago I actually started uploading to YouTube. And before you guys ask, well, hey, could you actually show us some of those old videos that you used to make where you just point a camera at a car or something, just because why not? I'm sorry, guys, I can't, and it's because I stored them on a hard drive, and unfortunately, that hard drive had died. It's unrecoverable. So those videos I used to make, they are now gone. But yeah, fast forward to today, where I've been doing this for about 3.5 years now. I've been able to accomplish, well, 90 subscribers on the Random Alpha, my first YouTube channel ever, because most of the other ones that you guys might be subscribed to, they've only been around for about 1.5 years at this point. Except for the B-roll channel, that I formed this year, actually. At least I think it was this year. So, 90 subs on the Random Alpha. I'm now breaking records with the Random Alpha gadgets, thank God, because I've been working so hard, especially with that channel, just to get it up off the ground. I've bumped it from just under 29 subscribers at the beginning of this year, and we're already an additional 10 more about 3 months later. Yeah, 3 months later, I'll call it. That's not bad. Views on some videos have been increasing more than usual, which, I mean, in part, especially with the gadgets channel, that's the biggest one that definitely ought to have brought attention. It's because I got my 16-inch MacBook Pro over on my desk. That's drawn a lot of attention, and I'm glad it has. And for those of you who are new, I mean, there's a good chance you might not be watching this channel because, well, some people just prefer to stick with one. But thanks for joining. I'm hoping I can keep you guys entertained and also informed at the same time going throughout. So I made it this far, essentially. I'm still growing. Things are looking good. As in, they're not declining at least, but I've been having a few other fears that in part have occurred to me within my time of being a YouTuber, and well, others pressed on by just from outside of YouTube. The first basic fear that I have is I cannot connect with my audience. And well, it shouldn't be that hard, right? You make the type of content, and if people like that content, well, then they're going to want to follow you and the type of because of the type of content you make. It's in theory, it shouldn't be that hard. And that's what I originally thought at first as well. Except it turned out I've discovered when attempting a live stream on the Random Alpha, the most popular one, I had not built the audience I was actually looking for. And it really kind of scared me because due to the questions they were asking, because it was supposed to be a Q&A live stream, due to the questions they were asking, I could clearly tell that was not the audience I wanted to build. From what I know, at least, it's a lot of people my age, mostly in high school at this point. Well, they're obsessed with gaming and such. And that's what a lot of people are obsessed about, the gaming industry. I honestly, I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. I don't care for gaming. I'm not really a gamer. I don't take that much enjoyment in video games, not as much as I used to at least. But still, I do not enjoy that, and I also don't even. I've tried watching a few bits of that content, but I just can't get into it. I do not enjoy it. I just can't. But clearly, that audience that somehow I managed to build up, it must have been someone who figured out I was a YouTuber, and because of my age, well, that means I have to be big into gaming or something like that. And so that, of course, that person told all their other friends, "Hey, subscribe to this YouTube channel and such." And they're all expecting me to have this gaming content. That, but obviously, I don't enjoy doing that content. I don't enjoy making that content. So obviously, I'm not going to post video games on YouTube. And that was something that came very apparent to me on that live stream. And it was, I don't think I've built the audience I was looking for. So this was another reason. I mean, I've come close to almost just putting a hold on that channel altogether. I mean, there's other reasons aside from that, but I've wanted to make less and less content for that channel, and it's just because the audience that was built on that channel was not what I intended it to be. It is supposed to be for fun stuff, but I don't enjoy the gaming that they enjoy. So as you can see, I've been in a bit of a pickle with that channel, and despite that, yeah, it has the most subscribers. I'm trying to figure out a way to still keep those numbers up, but make it enjoyable not just for me, but also for the viewers. I mean, if it's not enjoyable to the viewer, then they're not going to watch, and I need them to watch. That is essentially what I need people to watch my stuff, but nobody's going to want to watch it if it's not enjoyable. But it's hard for me to make that. Sometimes it's hard for me to make the content that they enjoy because I might not enjoy it myself. So I need to find fun activities that I can do with this channel that is not just fun for the viewers to watch, but also fun for me as well. So that's one of my first fears that I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to find that either due to budget constraints or I've already built up the wrong audience in the first place, as I discovered with that live stream. I'm not entirely sure what to do with it just yet. I want to keep it growing because, I mean, that channel has the most subscribers. Despite how little I've uploaded that channel, I'm still surprised that I get new subscribers to that channel. It's, to me, it's kind of bananas. But yeah, I have to find a way to get that to grow the way I want it to. I want all of my YouTube channels to grow. I don't want to. My goal with this entire network isn't just to grow one channel and see which type of content works best. My goal is to have all of these grow, because all the different things that I'm posting, it's all stuff I'm interested in cars. It's just getting a hold of them is really difficult. I'm interested in gadgets, which I'm happy that that channel has starting to grow a little faster than before. Um, Obviously, I like doing fun things. That's just who doesn't like doing fun things? So that's why I still keep the random alpha around. I like making music. Unfortunately, my music setup is such a mess, and I've been trying to work on something decent because I mean I've been struggling. I've been looking for a desktop setup for my music set, except that has not gone according to plan essentially. So from the looks of it, I'm going to have to find a way to integrate my MacBook into the setup because Apple is not making the desktops that I'm looking for. So I need to find a way to integrate my MacBook into the setup, and right now it is not going very well at all. I need desktop monitors because there's no room for a laptop screen, and yeah, it's a mess. But once I get this mess sorted out, I'll actually get back into making my own music, which I really miss doing. I love music a lot, so I want that channel to grow as well. In the meantime, I've basically been posting royalty-free music videos, so it's been working. That channel has also grown a bit, which I'm grateful for. On the podcast, Salt Pepper and I we've been texting every week to make sure whether or not our schedules were actually clear to record, which we've been doing a better job at clearing. In fact, after I'm done filming this video you're watching today, I'm going to be recording another episode with Salt. So podcast has been growing, and podcasting is something I've actually realized I've enjoyed doing, primarily because I'm more relaxed. I don't have to worry about trying to keep the video as short as possible because, well, all the videos on my other channels, they're all essentially edited so heavily to the point where sometimes I can't even tell when I breathe. So the shorter the video, then the better. But with the podcast, I can actually relax. I mean, some vlog videos like this one, I can relax too because I don't really plan on editing it unless I get an interruption. But podcast, I'm able to relax. I don't have to worry about screwing up just trying to speak English because at this point it's just become a meme on my podcast. Yeah. English is not my primary language, guys. And if you ask me which one it is, there isn't one. I don't have one. So I want these channels to grow, but I want to make sure that as those channels grow, it's growing with the right audience. And that's so far one of my biggest fears, especially primarily with my most subbed channel, the Random Alpha. It's that one I'm trying to figure out how to weed out those who would not be interested, but at the same time keep those who actually are. It's a bit of a difficult process, but that's not really the only fear I have, obviously. So another fear I have is I don't know if I'll ever be able to take this full time. And this one is slightly irrational. And that's because, well, yeah, as I continue to make more videos and get more interesting, well, more people there's more of a chance that people want to join the community that I'm basically trying to establish. And once I get enough, then I can get my channels monetized and maybe switch to YouTube full time. It's just, I'm not too sure how feasible that will essentially be at this point. I'm lucky right now that I do not have major expenses. The only major expenses I really have are mostly related with my car. I pay my own phone bill, I pay my car insurance, gas, repairs, the just regular bills and such like that. I'm lucky that I don't have to pay electric bills just yet. As my heating bill is technically paid by just me moving wood to the wood stove. That's essentially how I get heat. And even though for the longest time this winter, I didn't actually be able to get to experience that because I discovered this room is so poorly insulated that we had to get a space heater that's currently sitting right there. It's does a really good job of keeping this room warm in the winter. And luckily the sun is shining right now because this is an attic space that I'm in. Whenever the sun shines, this room gets nice and warm. And yeah, the heating system is able to keep up. But the point is, I do have some expenses, and I also need to invest actual money into this channel if I still want it to grow too. I mean, sure, I can simply talk about the news, but it's not exactly as interesting as having the actual products at hand. Like, let's take the gadgets channel for example. I talk about mostly Apple products all the time. And don't get me wrong, I still love them, but I've actually been noticing I'm starting to get a bit bored with it. And it's not really because Apple's becoming bad or anything. The truth is, it's because, well, I want to see the competition. I want to know what's on the other side. What is it that I'm missing? Because there is potential excitement outside of the Apple ecosystem. And I know that I've pretty much invested myself very deep into it at this point. I have an iPhone, 2 Max. I got rid of my 13-inch laptop because honestly, I just had no use for it. And I wanted that thing to get used. So I've lent it to my sister for as long as she needs to use that thing. So I technically now have 2 laptops in my possession, not 2 laptops, 2 Macs in my possession, my iMac and my new 16-inch MacBook Pro. Yeah, the iPhone XS Max, which I'm working on getting an iPhone 13 Pro Max at some point. I'm working on getting a new iPad because I have an iPad 4 and it's not functioning very well. Yeah, I've pretty much invested myself in this Apple ecosystem. And the primary reason for it wasn't, well, I won't say it was Apple's fault or it was really Apple that drove me to them. Like they didn't really throw out a bobber and I bit the bobber and what do you know, I'm an Apple sheep all of a sudden. I was actually pushed towards Apple because Android at the time was messy. It didn't know what it wanted to be, especially with Samsung. It was such a mess. I hated dealing with that. And also, the phone wouldn't shut up, basically. I had notifications going off for even the dumbest things, like Do Not Disturb is on. Do I really need to be notified when Do Not Disturb is on? The point of Do Not Disturb is to keep notifications silenced. Charging. I don't understand why, but it has a separate notification for when you're slow charging and fast charging. What's the difference? Where's middle charging? It's little annoyances like that. There's the long list. The list goes on much longer than that, but Android was not good enough. I needed something different, and that was iOS because, well, the only other platform I can choose aside from Android is iOS, and that's because there's no other platforms to choose from. It's literally those two. And so I was pushed towards iPhone. That, and I really like the design. Okay, Apple might have hooked me on with the iPhone 10 design, but yeah, still. The Mac, on the other hand, was not Apple's fault as of why I switched to them. I switched to the Mac because Windows 10 seriously was, it's a dumpster fire. I've made a 35-minute rant video on the Gadgets channel if you really want to know more details about that. So, but here's the thing. I've pretty much invested myself into the ecosystem for about 2 years at this point. And now, despite that, sure, I'm surrounded by Android devices all the time. My family uses Android. Both my parents, they use Samsung. My grandparents, they use Samsung. My uncles, they use Samsung. My sister uses a OnePlus. Uh, yeah, I'm surrounded by Android people all the time. But because those aren't my devices, I don't know what it's truly like to own an Android anymore. And Android has changed dramatically since. So because of that, I want to get a new Android phone and see how has Android actually changed. Now, I would not keep my SIM in it. I probably would still go back to the iPhone, but I at least want to try something different. And as much as I don't think Windows has changed, I'd still like to give Windows 11 a try. So, yeah, I'm just getting a bit bored. But in order to actually try Android and try out Windows 11, well, I'm going to need to actually purchase an Android device and or a Windows laptop or something like that, which I do not have that kind of money to spend right now. I was barely able to afford my 16-inch MacBook Pro, and that thing costs like $2,500. And unfortunately, the way that the economy has been going right now, you can't deny this, okay? I don't like getting political, and I'm not going to. I'm just stating facts. The economy has been just suffering. Inflation's on the rise, which means now all the money that I have worked for is becoming less valuable, which means I need to work even harder to, well, basically afford what I used to be able to, say, last year. Gas prices are absolutely through the roof. I am very nervous for my next bill because actually this time, because I have that gas leak in my car, I now am basically trying to keep as little fuel in the tank as possible so that when that gets removed, it's easier. Because let me tell you, 5-gallon bucket of water is already heavy enough. Try 16 gallons. Don't even bother. My phone bill is also going to increase at some point, and the primary reason for that is actually just because I'm actually upgrading the plan. I'm finally getting rid of that about 1.2 gigs of data that I get per month. It's technically a 6 gigabyte plan with AT&T, but my family shares all of that. So technically, if you divide it evenly amongst 5 people, it's about 1.2 gigs of data per person. So finally, we'll be switching to unlimited, and that's when I get the new iPhone. But still, that's going to increase because my current bill is about $25. I think it's going to increase somewhere like 30 or 35 a month. Things are getting more expensive, and I'm trying to invest more money into this channel. Like, I've got a very good editing machine at this point now. And I'm even surprised. My editing machine that I have no problems performance wise and such is actually a laptop. I'm honestly shocked. I thought, okay, I'll use a laptop for traveling purposes, but I know I'm going to want a desktop at some point. And I still do want a desktop Mac, and it's primarily because of the big display. Except Apple currently doesn't offer a desktop Mac with a display size bigger than 24 inches, actually. They got rid of the 27-inch iMac. That sucks. Then there's other expenses, major purchases that I'd like to make, not just for the gadgets channel, but also the drive channel. I'm trying to save up for a Tesla. And yeah, I know. You can say I'm an absolute fool for wanting to buy a Tesla, especially at my age. I have my reasons though, and I've made this video on the Drive channel. It's a common theme with a lot of what I'm talking about. I've made these videos on certain plans on other channels, respected to the type of content they are. Yeah, except that's going to get a lot harder as I'm also trying to invest more money in other places as well. I don't, but not only do I need to invest the money, here's the biggest fear that I have that's making me wonder, will I ever actually make this my full-time job? It's primarily time. Time is something that one would think 24 hours, or excuse me, 12 hours. There's 12 hours in a day that we're awake. Make use of it. Well, I've been trying to do that, except managing that 18 hours of being awake is a lot more difficult than one would think. I have a job, obviously. I need a job in order to pay my bills and such. But whenever I'm at my job, that is also stealing time from making YouTube videos, which is something that I really enjoy. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy working at my job, actually. I love actually being able to make stuff, and I'm at, it's a beginner's standpoint, but I'm at the point where I know enough to be able to design whatever I want and actually make it a reality. To me, that's just cool. I mean, that's one of the things that I originally thought of was cool about YouTube. There's this video concept, or there can be this skit idea or tutorial or whatever just popping into your brain. And thanks to YouTube, the general nobodies of the world, well, they can make videos about this kind of stuff. They can make those ideas they have in their head an absolute reality. To me, that's just cool. I love that about YouTube. And I can do the same thing with my current job. But despite that, I enjoy my job. I don't see myself particularly working in that industry forever. I still treat YouTube as my dream job. And the primary reason is, well, with YouTube for the most part, I'm my own boss. I'm my own boss. I get to decide what happens around here, what goes, what doesn't go. And even though, yeah, I technically have a partner who doesn't really help out that much anymore because times have changed and such, but for the most part, I do everything. I work at my own pace. I'm my own boss. I decide what content I'm going to make, what content I don't want to make. I get to build relationships. I get to talk to you guys. get some opinions, potentially inform, entertain, versus sure, I can't really do this stuff at my current job. The closest I can come up with, sure, there's the same concept of I can come up with an idea and make it a physical thing you can hold. But most of the time, that's not what I'm doing at my job. Most of the time, I'm just standing at a machine. I'm handed something that's already been designed, and sometimes I have to draft up a program for the machine, sometimes I don't. But most of the time, I'm just standing at the machine and making this concept that someone else generated a reality. And it's cool to watch the machines do their thing. It's cool to watch me be the guy standing there coding a machine and watching it just make this concept that somebody else had. But it's even more fun when I can make the concept myself and then write the program and then make it an actual reality. But the thing with that job is it's for few people. It's not for me. It's mostly not for my benefit. What do I get out of it? Well, mostly just a paycheck. So I have decided, yes, I do want to do YouTube as a full-time job, but I fear that it's going to either take a while or it might not happen. And there's a lot of odds that are against that. The primary odds are, one, financials. I have to invest in order to put an idea, in order to grow an idea, essentially. I've had to pay for the Mac. I've had to pay for the iPhone with its camera. I've had to pay for so many other things related to YouTube. So I need to invest that, but I need YouTube to also deliver a profit, which has not happened yet, because none of my channels are currently monetized. So other parts are just, well, the community. I need to make sure I build the right communities, and I've had some improvement within the past few months, which I'm grateful to see that. I'm grateful to see that growth has actually been a little faster than other periods. This 3-month period that has essentially happened this year, I think it's one of the fastest growth periods I've ever had. And I'm hoping it will continue to be that way. I've discovered with the Gadgets channel, especially in January, it was because of my 13-inch MacBook Pro, well, basically 2-year review, me using it and me just being frustrated with using that. That was January's video. Then we have February's video, which was unboxing the 16-inch MacBook Pro. I got a lot of views on that, and I'm grateful for that. And then March was the end of March, but I got it during March. It was the review of the 16-inch MacBook Pro. So the Gadgets channel has definitely grown. I've noticed the Beats channel has also grown by about, I want to say, 3 subscribers within this week, which is very fast considering how many subscribers that channel generates. Podcast numbers have also surprised me because it's been about 3 weeks since I've posted an episode, and yet I got the email back from Spreaker today, and they told me that they've had 6 downloads. on a 3-week-old episode. So it's cool to see this is growing, but I'm scared that it won't grow fast enough. And then the last odd that's also working against me for the most part is I don't exactly have as much support. The one of the biggest reasons why the channel might not grow is actually because of the person you're watching. I have not been met let's just say I have not been a lot of people's favorite person to be around. There's a lot of things about me that, for the most part, due to YouTube and the ability to edit, I can keep these away from you guys. But there's a lot of quirks and things about me that most people don't necessarily agree with. And that's what I do. Keep it. I don't show. Um, I don't present these quirks to you guys. And it's because I personally just don't think you guys need to hear them. And you didn't come to watch me basically. Well, my point is I'm not exactly everybody's favorite. Back when I went to public school, the only friends I basically had were the teachers. Yes, I was practically teacher's pet. I've only had one other friend, Salt Pepper. I've also had I've had a few girlfriends from there too. Though the relationships I really wish could have gone better. And yeah, I'm not good with people mostly. Uh, Being around people is something that's hard for me to do. And sometimes, yeah, when there are these nasty people, you can't find them now because I've actually removed those comments. Though here's the thing: those comments that are basically trying to make me feel bad, they're not successful. And I'm not joking when I say that. What annoys me more is that people just go out of their way to try to make others feel miserable. That's what makes me feel upset. It's not the comment itself, it's just the fact that there's people who are just willing to go out of their way to do these horrible things. And this is, I guess, one of the biggest reasons why I struggle around people. I have been mostly exposed. I know it's subjective, but for most of my life, I've been mostly exposed to people who go out of their way to basically ruin other people's lives. I don't like that. That is, and maybe it's not the case, but this is just the way I see it. I see so much hate going on in the world, and I don't like that. That's something that I hope I'm not building, because I mean, I've made a few rant videos, but when I make these rant videos, it's really because I want the company to make something better. Sure, like on the Gadgets channel, I rant about Microsoft all the time. And it's because they're making absolute trash. So because of that, I chose to go to Apple. But at the same time, not everyone else will. Despite that, I see Windows clearly has some problems. It I see that as, sure, I'm willing to switch to a different brand, but most people aren't for their own reasons, and I want to respect those reasons. But when I make these rant videos about Microsoft, it's really me trying to tell them they need to do better. So this is something that I don't think I do a good enough job when I am actually making rant videos or videos talking about how bad products are. It's primarily because I wish they could do better. I want things to be good. Everyone does. I don't really know that many people who doesn't. So yeah, I know this video has definitely gotten deep. It's a long one, but these are two of the biggest things that I fear, just as a creator's standpoint. I'm scared about, did I grow the type of audience that I want to grow? And can I actually achieve, well, YouTube as a full-time job? I've seen many other stories. I'm subscribed to many other people who've also just turned it into a full-time job. They're large creators now, especially, but there's LTT. It was originally Linus, still under NCIX. It was NCIX that was funding Linus's channel. Then they later departed, and Linus owns his own thing now, and it's become a media company. And I'm grateful that he was able to turn it into a successful channel. Marques Brownlee, he built it. He was able to build up, and I haven't watched him in the days where he was a smaller creator, but to see what he has accomplished, to me, is amazing. Talos of Tech is one of my personal favorites. He was able to turn YouTube into a full-time job. Luckily, his timing was right, where he was able to basically go full-time after senior year of high school, which is, to me, that's impressive. I'm not on track for that, unfortunately. I'm nowhere close. And so the fact that he was able to actually get his YouTube network off the ground like that, to be able to afford to pay his bills, take vacations, save up for, he's currently saving up for his first Tesla, which is really cool. I guess I'm a bit guilty of him getting that myself, but it's cool to watch these other creators grow as well. And I just fear that I cannot grow like them. Either because maybe it's me in front of the camera, I'm not growing the right audience. Maybe I timed this poorly, because those other YouTubers, they came in the game much earlier than I have. I came in at around 2019. Or was it 2018? I don't remember. 2018, 2019, sometime in there. That's when I came around. And all these other YouTubers, most of them have either started when YouTube just first came out, when it just became a thing. And sure, it was not the cool thing, but all of a sudden it has become the cool thing. And I'd say maybe like before 2015, when you started in that, there, you had a very good chance of actually growing. I'm late to the party. I've never been early or on time with anything. So part of me is afraid maybe I've missed it. Maybe I've maybe YouTube isn't exactly the cool thing, or now these creators are so large that the small stuff like me, I don't matter anymore. I don't like to think of it this way, but maybe that is what happened. Why I haven't grown as fast as Tailosive or there's another person who's dedicated viewer. I've appreciated how much he actually continues to put up with sometimes the terrible videos I come out with. I mean, I think the editing is fine, but sometimes the ideas they're just not the best. I'm grateful that he's stuck with me so far, but he's in a maybe not exactly the same position I am, because he's got like about 350 subscribers and he's still growing. I've doubled my subscribers comparing last year's amount of subscribers to this year's. I doubled. The random alpha had about like I don't know, just somewhere less than 50. It's between 45 and 50, I think. And we're currently at 90. But this guy, originally when he subscribed last year, he was, well, just under 190 subscribers, and he's now grown to 350. He's nearly doubled. And I don't want to say I'm jealous, but because I should be grateful. Yeah, he's been growing too. I mean, I don't want anybody to not grow, but I'm just scared that I might not be able to grow fast enough to the point where YouTube would be successful for me. And I want to continue to make the time, even if it never becomes successful. I still want to take the time to do this. I enjoy this way too much. I'm not entirely sure why, but doing YouTube is I something I need to do. I don't know why, but it's just something that I need to do. And if I can't get this to grow enough or fast enough, then I don't know how I'll ever be able to make the time, invest the money, because I mean, I've got other life things I need to worry about too. I'm worried about so many things. So I guess that's how I'm going to wrap up this video. These are fears that I have. Maybe they're fears that you have too. But then again, we're not all the same. I want to make this my full-time job. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just do it as a little hobby. So far, that's the current stage I'm in right now. And I want it to grow and escalate from that. It's just it's not going as fast as I'd like it to. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you guys watching now. With the few of you who have still stuck with me, whether you like my content or not even, I'm surprised that some people subscribe just because it's me. I've never been anybody's favorite. I'm not really used to that. And if I had to guess, I'm still not anyone's favorite on YouTube either. I don't think I'm exactly the go-to channel. I don't think I'm anybody's top favorite YouTuber. Other than maybe a few friends that I have. But in terms of anyone's go-to channel, I don't think I'm there. So thank you for watching. If you have any other fears that you might want to talk about or something, well, feel free to comment down in the comment section. That's what it's for. It's to communicate. If anyone has any advice they could offer or want to offer, stories to tell, feel free to do that. That's primarily what I built this channel for. It's to communicate with you guys behind the scenes. This is something that I do behind the scenes. I just think and I think and I think so hard. Sometimes it actually becomes distracting to make a YouTube video in the first place, but yeah, this is what I've been thinking. It's been 3.5 years since I started, and I'm grateful that I'm not in a worse spot than I currently am right now. My YouTube channels are still technically growing, but I guess I just wish they would grow faster. And that's something that I can't demand, or primarily I don't think I can ask for either. The only thing I can do is be patient, and patience is not one of my strongest points. So I just need to wait this out. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is Alpha DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out.